What's the show called? Forecheck. Okay, we're at the NHL Forecheck. Matty Ice, Saul Goodman. We're back for a big contest. 5-5-5 tonight. 200K up top. One of the biggest we've ever seen, I think. Saul, right? Or
I think the biggest first prize for sure. I think actually the biggest everything we've seen, other than the live finals.
And Matty, Discord is hopping. I want people to realize that I think we have one of the best. It's one of our best channels at Run Pure Sports with you guys running it. UQP, Matty Ice, Saul. I pop in from time to time, but it's good to get on a show with you guys. So I think that today it's a huge slate. How many games we've got?
11, I think.
Yeah, that's a massive slate. About to fill too. The 5-5-5 is about to fill, and you guys have been helping these Discord members. I see Mr. Griff right here. Mr. Griff has been taking down the Buddha Man, which is like folklore.
Yeah, it's been going well for Griff. We've built him some nice lineups in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, he loves it. He loves it. He's an NHL guy now. So the thing tonight is I'm going to ask you guys with a larger slate. Number one, where are you with correlation on a slate like tonight? Heavy or lighter?
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Matty. Go ahead, Matty.
I mean, for me, it kind of, it depends on what you're trying. I prefer correlation, but there are some cheap pieces tonight, that I don't mind if you play as one-offs. Like Arturi Laikonen's, I think he's $3,500. Like if you want to play him as a solo, running next to Nate and Rant, like I don't hate that. Or even Macklin out in San Jose, who's cheap, who I know Saul likes. I don't know that I want to pay $6,500 for Mikhail Granlund, but I certainly have interest in, like Macklin at $3,900. So, I mean, I'm always looking for correlation, but I don't mind if you throw a one-off or two in there just due to price, because they are priced, very reasonably.
Yeah, I think I agree. And my kind of like my default is to play 3 forwards and 3 forwards, and then if a defender can correlate, great. If not, then I'll just play kind of 2 uncorrelated defensemen. But to Matty's point, we have a couple of very, very underpriced guys tonight, so there is an opportunity to, like on the playbook, we'll give notes like you can leave off, this third member of a stack or something.
Yeah.
So, like, for example, if you wanted to play, I don't know, Islanders 2, for example, and you wanted to play Nelson and Palmieri, and then you could play Lehkonen, kind of just pretend he's on that line and just leave off the third member who kind of isn't great. So you can mess with that. As always in NHL, like you do want correlation. It's really tough to pick like 5 or 6 spots and get them right. So, the thing with correlation is if you pick a couple things right, it's a little bit easier like that because your goals and assists will add up. But yeah, I mean, like on Saber, I think it's probably like a 7 or an 8 on that scale for me.
Where do you because NFL we're seeing this lack of correlation with quarterback with your Daniel Jones being optimal last week, Saul. Which was, I mean, the guy is the death of me. And a naked Daniel Jones is on an optimal slate. But you also see some spend up in NFL. But if you spend up to an 8K range, the highest range, and there's 8K range here in NHL, like a Pasternak, for instance. What are you looking for multiple wise to make sure that he provides value to you on a slate? It's got to be pretty significant, no? Because like a Saquon Barkley, for instance, comparing this to NFL, to me, he's got to be number 1 or number 2 in terms of gross scoring and probably outpace the next guy up by 10% in order to be enough, because you're playing You're playing it, and hopefully one of your 3K pieces smashes too to make him fit. Are you the same here with NHL? Like if you're playing a punt or two, and by the way, how many punts do you play? Are you looking for some of these higher priced guys, correlated or not, to really have to have ceiling games?
Yeah, I mean, to win any of these GPPs, you need ceiling games from these guys. So, I think like a pretty good barometer is like GPP winning stuff is kind of like 4 or 5x usually. Like if Pasternak for, like Nikita Kucherov or something, 9K. If they get you like 35, then that's a great score. If they get you 3x, that's okay too. Where you really need, you do need their punts. Like you need your punts to do better than 3x, generally speaking, which is easier.
Scenario, right?
Which is easier in NHL because like in NFL, your 3K guy, the only way they're really getting 15 points is if they score a touchdown. I guess touchdowns and goals are not that different, but it's easier for a lot of these 3K guys to score a goal or pick up an assist or two than it is for some random idiot wide receiver that I play all the time to fall into the end zone. So like if I have a 3 or 4K guy, if he's getting me 12 to 15 points, great. But yeah, those spend up guys, the thing with the spend up guys is you're usually going to be playing the rest of their line mates too. It's rare, kind of the way you normally would build an NHL. It's very rare for people to pick like 2 cheaper lines and then play a Pasternak one-off or a Kucherov one-off. Usually you're going to play like Kucherov's whole line. And so if he's doing well, then you need the other guys to kind of come along too.
What's your thought there, Matty, on punts? Same sort of philosophy?
Yeah. I'm the same way. I mean, I guess maybe I'm a little bit more different than Saul. Like I shipped the other night and I had a one-off Kaprizov, but when I did that, that was more so. I mean, I'm a Wild fan. I watch a lot of Wild hockey, so I know Hines moves him all over that lineup, and he's playing more ice time than any forward in hockey. So that was, kind of part of the reason. He just seems to be involved in everything. Do I prefer to stack? Yeah. If I'm playing like Pasternak tonight, I'm probably gonna, pair him with Rat and Lindholm, or if not Lindholm, maybe Charlie McAvoy, or something of that sort. But I certainly, usually if you're playing a stud, like Saul said, you're looking for a 70 bomb, from that line. At least that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a ton of points. More so for me, punting, I usually end up punting a lot more at D-man, and I think that's something Saul does as well too. Totally. And to his point, to where he was talking about a cheap receiver having to score a touchdown, when you're playing these cheap D guys, you even if they end up with 2 shots on goal, no points, but they get the block bonus, you're at 4 to 5 times.
Think of a guy like McCabe tonight in the Leafs. Austin Matthews is out. They're playing a huge rival in Boston who likes to smash them. McCabe blocks a ton of shots. He's going to get his bonus. He won't be correlated in any power play, but he's still sub 3K, which I think is too cheap. So if he gets his 8-point block bonus, which I think he should, and then adds an assist or 2, then he's well above that multiple. And I agree with you guys on defense. I think another one's Liljegren. Power play 1 sheet doesn't do a lot.
Well, we talked about it. We talked about it in Discord this morning, and he's on our playbook. Like a guy like Scott Mayfield for the Islanders, he's Stone Men tonight. Their decore's absolutely depleted. They got guys playing defense tonight that I've never even heard of. He's $2,500. A punt like that. Me and Saul both. We're talking about that this morning. We both really like him at Stone Men. He's going to play 20+ minutes. He has to. I don't know what
he's the highest value. He's the highest value on Sabre. He's going to be 7% projected owned. And if you're on the ice that much, right, Matty, you're going to do something.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what a Grant Hunton is or an Isaiah, whoever. I mean, I watch a ton of hockey, and I don't know who those guys are.
I think it's sick because what I have on my sheet, some lower owned lines I like. I like Islanders 1. I'm going to make myself sick by even saying this today. So
they shipped for me the other night. I had Horvat, Anders Lee, and who the hell, JGP.
The Daniel Joneses of hockey.
Well, they were due. They were due.
Bobby Boom. Okay, go into and what's your lastly before we go into some lines we like. And by the way, the playbook for those who are not members of Run Pure Sports, and you should be, the playbook is a really clean, well put together, quick take of top lines that these guys like the most. These two right here, top punts, top defensemen, top goalies, top value plays. That really gives a perspective and ranks them like our other playbooks and cheat sheets. That gives a perspective on, with some narrative on what you guys think are some of the best plays in stacks tonight, and some of the value drops that if you want to put together a line quickly, and Tony was supposed to be here, he chickened. I knew he couldn't do a hockey show. Grande Antonio 44.
Man, I was looking forward to big pucks.
Big pucks. He loves it, but that's how, he's not God love him. People in Kentucky don't grow up around hockey, so it becomes a sport they don't understand too well. But he's been using the playbook and having success and enjoying it. So the question, though, to you, Saul, how afraid of you, like line one, Colorado tonight, you guys mentioned Lehkonen, right? Way too cheap. Probably the highest value in the slate, but rightfully so, going to be 40% out or near it. Are you afraid of that chalk?
Yeah. So ordinarily, if a winger on an 11-game slate in NHL was too cheap, I would kind of just play him if it makes sense. For sure, play him in my Colorado stuff. This is one where like he should probably be like, if he was playing all year and he was in this role, he'd be like, I mean, he's historically been like 6.5K. So like 3K too cheap here. So I will play him. I think I'm going to have probably like 8 or 9 lineups tonight. I'll probably play him in half if it makes sense. I mean, I haven't built yet, so I may end up with more. I don't think I would probably end up with less.
Okay.
I think you could say it's probably the most valuable role in NHL DFS is being on the wing with McKinnon and Rantanen, and they're at home. I mean, it's not an incredible matchup, but it's not Carolina. It's nothing to be like super afraid of. He's on the top line. He's on the top power play. He's a good player. He's played with them before, and he's going to play 20, 21 minutes, 22 minutes tonight. So yeah, it certainly is not a full fade for me. You could also kind of, I'm sorry to kind of go off on a tangent, but
no, go ahead.
This is an 11-game slate tonight, and I haven't built, but it doesn't feel like there's going to be any like real overwhelming chalk at all. Like I don't even know which lines are going to be very popular. To be honest, I think it could be very spread out tonight. And same at goalie. Like unless Lucas Dostal plays, then he will probably be chalky. But my point is, ordinarily, if this was if there were some obvious chalk spots, then I might say like, okay, don't play Lehkonen if you're playing super chalk, whatever line. But that's not really the case tonight. So I think you can, and just in general in NHL, like you really don't have to worry about chalk too much. And especially on this slate, I think everything is going to be super, super spread out. I'd be surprised if any lines get up around 20%. So you can just kind of do whatever you want.
I don't think the full line for Colorado will get up. I think Rantanen will be the odd man out, but I do believe it will be a McKinnon, Lehkonen 2-man. Don't you think, Matty?
I mean, Nate's always going to carry ownership. I mean, the guy's a stud, and Saul was talking about the price on Lincoln, and I'm with Saul. I think he's 25 to $3,000 too cheap.
Yep.
The beautiful thing with him is they have no depth. If you want to look, I was talking about how bad the Isles decor is. Go look at their depth. It is terrible. So if he's remotely good to go, to Saul's point, he's going to play 21, 22 minutes, and he doesn't need a 35 bomb to get there. He's $3,500 bucks. So it's a little
Yeah.
different. It's a different
You
dynamic.
don't like Parker Kelly?
No, I don't.
No, I totally agree. I think you can get unique in other ways. Lehkonen is just too cheap for his upside and his floor. And sometimes a chalk in a 9-guy lineup is okay to eat. The question, though, too, is, Matt, he talked about Colorado. Without giving away sort of the fabric of the playbook tonight, what couple of lines that you may be focusing on or looking at tonight? And they don't have to be highly owned. They could be low end targets, but a couple of games you like and a couple of lines you like from there.
Yeah. One of the biggest things for me tonight, and I might be playing the waiting game, is I do like Vancouver quite a bit in a late night hammer, but that's only if Dostal don't play. If it's Reimer, I'm going to attack that. I'll be heavy on the Nucks. Dostal's been fantastic, but I think Reimer's cheeks, and the Canucks are due to absolutely break a slate. I like them quite a bit. I think Boston line 1 is quite interesting tonight. You got no Matthews for your Leafs, obviously. If you look back into past history, Boston has been beating the brakes off of them. And then you got the whole situation with Pasternak getting benched for the whole third period last game. He stood up in the media, took it like a man. I like him at quite low ownership tonight. I think he comes out quite a bit motivated. You can pair him real easily with Brand Marchand, who is typically a Leaf killer.
Yep.
For $5,300. As hot as the Wild have been, I don't want to sound like a homer, but they get the Kings on a back-to-back at home. Should be David Ritchie in net tonight. Nobody's talking about the Wild as good as they've been, so I like them. Winnipeg's another one me and Saul were talking about in chat. They're hard clicks for me. I don't want to click on a 7K Scheifele. It feels terrible. But Kyle Connor and Velarde's mid 4s, they're all getting solid minutes, top power play time. And then I'll leave a couple that I know Saul like. But I think the Flames are interesting as well in Montreal. I quite like the Igor Sharangovich line with Huberdeau and Mantha, real cheap full line stack if you're looking for something, or you can just go Igor and Huberdeau. Obviously Huberdeau is a little more boomer bust type guy because he just don't shoot a ton, but I think they get a nice matchup on paper tonight and should see quite a bit of ice time.
I'm glad you said all of those because my 3 were Boston 1, Calgary, a Calgary line, and Winnipeg power play. I love Ehlers a lot. I think he's cheap. I like Ehlers even paired with a pay-up defenseman like Morrissey, which I think won me the Buddha Man. Nah, it wasn't Morrissey, but it was a defenseman for Winnipeg. QP will know who it is.
I do have one question, and maybe I don't know. You might have Saber up, or maybe for Saul.
I do.
Do you think the popular route tonight is going to be jamming 6 expensive forwards and pure punting, or do you think people play like Macklin, Lehkonen, and pay up at D-man? I'm real curious to how construction is going to work out tonight.
Go ahead, Saul.
Yeah, there is a lot of very good talent up top on D. I mean, that was part of the reason why I expanded the playbook a little bit tonight from 6 to 9 options. It's a lot of guys that pair nicely with these stacks. I think, and there's not a ton of, like, you don't have the $3,000 ghost power play 1, lock here at punts. So I really think this is a great slate because I think you can go any number of ways. Obviously, Lehkonen is going to be super, super highly owned. Macklin is going to be highly owned. But after that, like, I don't know after that. And then, I mean, the nice thing is, like, all those lines that Matty mentioned, I have interest in. And then I have a couple more that he didn't even mention. I'm a big time Carolina 1 slappy. Svechnikov, Aho, and Roslovic. They get the Flyers at home today with this unproven goalie in net. And two other things that I like are I like San Jose at night against the Blue Jackets. Macklin will be popular, but I don't think a lot of people are actually going to play the full line here. I will probably have a lot of Macklin with your boy Timmy Liljegren, like a little mini there with the power play one.
Mini Timmy Liljegren.
Mini Timmy. And then the final thing, and I am very sure of this, but it's not going to win me any money because I don't know what to do with it. And that is that Ottawa Buffalo is going to be a complete fucking circus. I don't know who's going to score. Well, I don't know what's going to happen, but they're two clown ass teams that are going to score probably about 11 goals.
Yeah, like that was the total was 6, and it's less than the Montreal game. I thought the Buffalo game could be 14. It could be in like an 8-6 game.
Yeah,
with this clown show. Alex Tuch still seems too cheap to me. I feel like 2 players from that game will come in an optimal lineup tonight. I agree with that. And on the Leafs side, Matty, I agree with you. And listen, the Leafs have disappointed me for 47 years, so why not one more game against Boston to do it? Austin Matthews is out. Ty. Max, God love you, Ty. Max Domi is the number 1 center. Marchand is still 5K, and he loves smashing this team. And no one's going to own them, like you said. I agree. McKinnon's going to be super highly owned, but I think they're going to pay up on defense. I think people are going to go for Dobson. I think Makar is going to be highly owned, and because they want these Lehkonen cheap type pieces at the forward spot. So a Boston 1 in like a 5-3, 5-2 game. Hey, look at Swayman too. Look how cheap Swayman is. Who's going to score tonight for Toronto? It's a much different team that way. And they've had really, really good games, really excellent against Tampa Bay. And the next game, they get blown out by Columbus. They just lost in overtime to your Wild, right? Shake fist. With the worst play ever.
Matt Boldy, baby. OT winner.
But who had the worst play in overtime?
Who turned it over?
Max Domi.
I didn't even see who turned it over, but I saw number 12 going down with the dirty dangle, scoring on your boys.
Max Domi thought he was Connor McDavid for 3 seconds, and Boldy's like, "Oh, I got it. I'm pretty fast." So I agree. So Saul, I don't know. You were going to finish a point there.
No, I have no more good information. I'm tapped.
I like the punt Ds we've talked about. Liljegren, McCabe for me. Who's the 2,500 for the Islanders you like, Matty?
Mayfield,
right. I like that. And it could be contrarian to the field that doesn't want to spend down. They want to spend up at defense. I don't know if that comes out to be true or not.
I think you might be right, Wiley, because Quinn Hughes is shooting the puck at a ridiculous rate right now. Like, I think he's a great play. I think Mackenzie Weegar or Rasmus Anderson is a great play. Makar's a great play. So I'm curious to see if it's just people go with I have a feeling it's going to be like Macklin, Lehkonen. It's going to be whatever line they want. And then one of these oddly priced stud D-man, like it'd be like a Hughes or somebody somebody in that mid 6K range because you keep landing, or like Rasmus Dahlin at $5,900. Imagine last year thinking you'd get Rasmus Dahlin at $5,900. He was 7K all year.
Yep. Power play 1 against Ottawa. See, quick party here. This is a troll. He doesn't believe this. There's no way an Ottawa fan ever feels like the Leafs will be galvanized against anything. So I know what that is. And that's fine. Let's Columbus 1 thoughts. A couple of questions here from the commenters. Saul?
QP mentioned earlier today that the Columbus 1 minutes have been kind of trending down a little bit.
Yep.
And I know that I don't have a source for this, but last week I think saw a tweet that their shooting percentages were very unsustainably high as a group.
Yeah.
So I think with all the options tonight on the road, with San Jose's feeling good about Macklin coming back, they've won a couple games. I think they're a fade for me. But I get it. But they're a fade for me, I think.
Matty, any other comments on any lines before we go into our snake draft?
I'm with Saul on that. I don't think I'm on CBJ tonight, especially if Blackwood is in there. But one other thing I did want to mention line-wise is I do like Tampa Bay quite a bit in St.
Louis.
Blues have not been good, but Braden Point is out tonight. So Anthony Cirelli is moving to the top line, and he is centering Kucherov and Hagel. I have some interest in that line. Cirelli, I think, is 48 and Hagel's 58. Those guys are going to see big minutes. And I'd have interest in you, Matthew, if you were skating next to Kucherov.
Hell yeah, let's go. I could pick up a second assist, no problem. No problem.
Absolutely.
So let me ask you this, Matty. Because of the ECHL defense on the Islanders tonight, the guys you don't know, what are your thoughts on Schittsburg from Bobby Boom in that case? The goal total on that side is 3.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely
put in a game.
No, I definitely have some interest in Pittsburgh. Me and QP were talking about that in our Discord this morning. So if you're not in there, get in there. I mean, I'm usually up at 5. We talk hockey all day. There's stuff going on in there all day. But yeah, we definitely have some interest in Pittsburgh tonight with that decor the Isles are bringing out on the ice.
Anything else left, Saul, before we go to snake draft? Brought to you by DraftKings.
The only thing I would say is with all these NBA guys flooding the NHL streets tonight, there will be I think a higher percentage of guys are going to be using like straight optimizer stuff. So important to kind of know like who the optimizers are spitting out. So, or like knowing what the kind of like a lot of the cash plays are going to be, because those guys are more likely to be in GPP lineups tonight than any other night, pretty much the whole season, because guys are just going to be straight using the optos. So I think, Mayfield, as much as I would love for him to not be highly owned, I think he was popping in a couple of different optimal lineups earlier. So he's and you can still play him. I'm still going to play him a lot, but I think just knowing what those optos are going to spit out is helpful as you build.
I think people may pay for Dobson, who is playing tonight, right, Matty?
Oh yeah, he's in.
Yeah, Dobson 6,300 with that same mindset. I think he's going to be the highest owned defenseman in my mind. And then Makar possibly. You said Uyghur. I think you're right. Makar probably up there 2 or 3. I never have been able to pay $8,500 for a defenseman. But he's the best defenseman perhaps since Orr, so perhaps it's worth it. All right. Snake draft. Brought to you by DraftKings. By the way, pick 6 for DraftKings. It's really good for NHL. Go to dkng.co/RPS. Use code RPS. For pick 6, you pick up to 6 props. There's a ton of them. $5 in. DK will give you $50 if you use code RPS. Now, I'll give you the rules of snake draft, America's favorite draft.
Then you shouldn't be afraid to ride the snake.
Ride the snake.
Matty, did I lose you?
No, I got it. We're riding the snake, Saul. So snake draft is very simple. Each of us gets 3 picks. We go in counterclockwise order. I will flip a coin. Matty will call it the air. It's a Canadian coin. Loon on the top, queen on the bottom. There are only 2 rules of snake draft are 1, no duplications. 2, the biggest one is no mocking picks, and that is no smiling, no laughing, no making fun of. If you do, your camera's turned off, and it's a potential ban from snake draft for 2 weeks. Does everyone know the rules? And it's brought to you by DraftKings and AutoZone. Get in the zone.
We got it.
Or getting the fuck out. All right, flip the coin. Call in the air.
Tails.
Tails is not an option. It's a loon or a queen, so I go first. We will go counterclockwise. I will start with... Canadian coins are fucked up, man. All right, my first pick for snake draft. We didn't really get into goalies, but that's kind of the secret sauce. We want people to come to see the playbook tonight, because that is your pitcher. That is the one you have to get right. You cannot have a negative. The highest variance in hockey is goalies, -5 or 50. My first pick, it's snake draft from Winnipeg, line 2, power play 1, Ehlers. Saul, go ahead. Counterclockwise. We're going to Matty.
I am going to pick. Well, now you can make fun of me because it'll be Homer. I'm going to pick number 12, a man who has top 10 power play points, top 10 in power play goals, Mr. Matt Boldy.
I had to turn the camera off. That's like me picking Nylander. Good pick, Matty. I like it. Go ahead, Saul.
All right. I'm between Shesterkin and Shane Lowry, but I'm going to go.
Off goes the camera.
I'm gonna go with Andrei Svechnikov.
Okay, you get 2 picks.
Oh, very good. Then I will also take. Let's get a little spicy here. I will take Ricard Raquel from the Penguins.
Penguin. I would have never guessed. Matty, pick 2.
I will take Brandon Hagel from the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Hagel, I like it. I get 2 picks. I will give a goalie. I'm going to go Swayman. I'm going to go full counter Leafs tonight. 7,300 against. I think he puts up a shutout possibly. Swayman 7,300. I love it. And I will go McCabe blocking about 50 shots tonight from Boston Bruins line 1. Those are my 3. Matty, third pick.
Let me see here. You know what? I'll give you guys. I will give you guys. You know what? I'm going to take him even though he's chalky, but he's going to be extremely prevalent in my build. So I'm going to take $2,500 Scott Mayfield, baby.
Yeah, you have to have the guts. You said it. You got to have the guts. I like it. All right, Saul. Final pick for Saul.
All right. I'm going to take a goalie, and this is only if he starts, obviously, but I'm going to take Joey Cutlets, Joey Decord, and take on that Lekin and Chalk in lineups where I don't have him. So I'm going to go Joey D in net.
Oh, I love that.
Joey Dizzle against Colorado. Are you gonna play any Colorado against him or no?
Not against him, but I will. If I have 8 lineups, I may have like 5 with Lehkonen and 3 with Decord or something like that.
What do we think Decord's ownership will be? Nothing, virtually nothing.
Low. I think all the goalies are going to. I don't. Again, if Dostal plays for the Ducks, I think he'll be 15-20% because he's cheap, he's home, he's been great. If he doesn't play, I think there might not be a goalie that passes like 10% ownership. I think it's going to be super spread out. Personally,
I agree.
QP is Decord the starter. They've got Grubauer. Is he confirmed?
Nah, he's not confirmed. At least I haven't seen him yet.
And
Grubauer they put a projection up on Philip Grubauer. So.
Grubauer would be revenge Grubauer, which I would not want any part of. So if I'm gonna take a provisional pick here, not Joey Decord. I will go with.
I'm adding a third rule to snake draft. No provisionals.
No,
but go
well,
ahead.
Guess what? Dustin Wolf is going to be my provisional.
Okay.
Oh, I like that too.
Dirty Dustin.
Yes.
You should have said Decord, even if he doesn't start. Then you.
Honestly, that might be better. He might.
By the time Grubauer gets pulled, Sal, you're going to run away with it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's super sharp. Remember the time the backup goalie beat you and heads up?
It's on my Twitter banner. It's my header on my Twitter account, I think.
Yep.
So
Bobby Boom Sway. That's a good snake draft. No duplications, no mocking.
We just needed Keith Stewart. That was all that was missing.
I should bring Keith. He's a Ranger slap. I can't handle 2.
That's why we need him. I need some help over here.
All right, boys. Everyone, just come to RPS. RPS 15 first payment off. Come in tonight. You guys will be in there till lock, right? As always.
Oh, and I'll be in there both tonight.
Record-setting messages in the NHL chat. Chat it up with the 2 best. And good luck, boys, tonight.
Oh, and congrats to Bryce Morrow on his win tonight.
if Bryce Morrow, third and Schlong, wins the NHL, it's going to be an issue.
I will not be smiling. One of one.
No smiles. One of one. Our director Smiles will really have to put the work in overtime.
Hey, don't count out Tony Pucks.
Yeah, Tony Pucks. Later.
Big puck.